Hello friends, if you're new, welcome to my channel. How about going down and hitting the subscribe button and ringing the bell so you don't miss any episodes? For my fans and subscribers, welcome back. I do appreciate you. Today's topic, the emergence of Israel, Jerusalem. Not much else I need to say. Let's get on with the video. A stepped stone structure on the south of Temple Mount has been investigated for over a century. Through probes, we have learned that it consists of interlocking compartments. In all likelihood, it was constructed as a platform on which to build major projects near Temple Mount. In Iron 2, pillar courtyard houses were built on it, lower ones providing the floor for upper ones. The stone structure was used in Jerusalem's defenses until the Maccabean period. The only questions are when it was built and what its original function was. Kenyon demonstrated that it was pre-Hellenistic. In completing Kenyon's work, Shiloh's excavations showed that the stepped stone structure ran under Iron 2 houses, so had to be constructed before that. No datable remains are associated with the original construction, so dates must be determined by fills. The ceramics in the fill are not extensive or precise, but they do give enough evidence that we can conclude several things beyond a reasonable doubt. The pottery was sealed below the stone, and Cahill has published a representative selection. Most date to the late Bronze Age, when the Amarna letters testified that Jerusalem was a major city-state. However, there are examples of pottery that closely resemble ceramics from other sites dating to the 10th century. Cahill concludes that the latest possible date for the assemblage from the fill is the 12th century BCE. Accordingly, she holds that the structure was built in the Iron 1 period, but reused in the United Monarchy, probably starting as early as with David. Given these facts and deductions, it is reasonable to conclude that the structure represents the quote-unquote Jebusite city of the Bible, since it satisfies all the archaeological evidence and is neither a minimalist nor maximalist interpretation of the data. The building adjoining the stone structure is more controversial. Eilat Mazer, who excavated this in 2005 to 2007, interpreted this structure as the biblical quote-unquote citadel of David, and she dated it to the 10th century. This has been a continuation of Benjamin Mazer's work and has attracted much opposition. Despite all the controversy, the facts remain. This structure is a monument found to the south of the later Iron 2 gate leading to the Temple Mount. The pottery found thus far includes forms that traditionally date to Iron 2A or the 10th century. Pottery dating to the 10th century has been found elsewhere in Jerusalem. Because these sherds were found in fills, they cannot be used to date specific buildings. However, they do attest to widespread occupation beyond Temple Mount. The best preserved private dwellings were excavated by Shiloh. These were destroyed by the Babylonians in 586 BCE. By the 10th century, Jerusalem had grown substantially, both in size and population. However, despite this, it was not a glorious capital city from which monarchs ruled a far-reaching empire. Several surveys show that Jerusalem in the 10th century occupied 10 to 25 acres, with a population of 1 to 3,000. Nonetheless, Jerusalem was neither poorer nor more backwards than the magnificent sites of Megiddo or Hazor. It was a new city firmly established atop a mostly barren hill, emerging as the center of a rising state. Mazer concludes that at the time of David, it could have functioned as the power base of a political entity, even though it was small. In the divided monarchy, Jerusalem was a fortified city having 2 water supply systems with a socially stratified population. It meets all criteria set forth to be a city by the 10th century, yet skeptics claim that no monumental architecture has been found, yet these myths represent evidence. Nadav Naaman accepts that David and Solomon were probably historical, mainly because he also accepts that a Jewish state centered around Jerusalem in the 10th century and finds it highly likely that some documents dating back to David were used by the Deuteronomistic authors and editors, though much of the biblical narrative is fiction. The Jerusalem of the 10th century BCE spread over the city of David Hill approximately 4 hectares. Although architectural remains are few, what we do have indicate that this entire area was occupied, though we don't know how densely. There is no evidence of a city wall at this time, though use of previous fortification cannot be ruled out. Most archaeologists doubt the veracity of the biblical account of Solomon's building projects in the 10th century due to lack of archaeological evidence on Temple Mount for this period. However, the scholars that take this position cannot answer the questions of when and by whom the Iron Age temple and palace were built. Yet, we have no evidence, written or otherwise, of these projects being undertaken after Solomon. Therefore, although the biblical text is surely exaggerated, it does seem to have at least a hint of truth to it. 2 things to note here. 1, absence of evidence is not evidence of absence. The archaeological evidence could very well be under the dome of the rock. However, we cannot excavate the dome of the rock. And considering it is sacred to 3 religions, we might not ever be able to. I am certainly not against respecting the sacred places of religion. However, seeing as how Temple Mount is sacred to 3 different religions, it is hard to see that we will ever get to the truth behind Temple Mount. Well, friends, that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, hit that like button, press the subscribe button, and if you want to know when I come out with new content, hit the bell next to the subscribe button. My Twitter, Discord, email, and PayPal links are in the description, along with the sources that I used for this episode. If you wish to get in contact with me, Twitter is the best way, followed by email. Also, please leave comments in the comment section. Not only do I love hearing from you, but it also triggers the YouTube algorithm. You may also leave any requests down there as well.